Hi.
Hi everyone, how you doing? It is Chanan and
Joey Lott. Hey, everybody. It's really nice to see you. And today on our show, which we call, what do we call this? We call this Accessing
Accessing
Oneness.
Oneness,
And in
living inner
today's show,
peace.
today's show, we're going to talk about inner peace. We're going to talk about really gaining clarity on what inner peace really is, because all of us know that we're wanting inner peace, but unfortunately, most of us are trying to get to inner peace. And that's why we never find it because we're looking for it somewhere else, and we're not discovering the present reality of inner peace at the core of our being, and by the way, which radiates and extends everywhere, always, all the time. There is nowhere where this so-called inner peace is not. And that's the big secret, and that's what we really want to take a look at, is discovering what is true inner peace and how is that the same as world peace, universal peace, peace everywhere, always. And
That's right. Inner and outer. And outer peace.
discovering how that's actually already here, already true. And that's really important, because if we're imagining that it's off in the future, it's always going to seem like it's off in the future, out of reach. But when we start to live from that and access that in our lives moment to moment, we start to really tap into the depth and richness and breadth of that and discover the intimacy of that and the immediacy of that. And that's what we're really wanting to invite you to, because that's exciting. It's like we always thought, or I always thought, oh, I just need my awakening, my inner peace, so that I can be okay, because I feel so miserable. I need to be okay. But the real gift is waking up to realizing that it's all one. Really, really, really is all one. So it's not enough. That's the amazing thing. It's not enough for me just to discover my inner peace, because that turns out to be a little bit of a lie. The discovery of my inner peace is the discovery of inner peace, period. It's the discovery of oneness. It's the discovery of what it is that's always here, that's you and me. And when we really discover that, we want to share that. We want to meet and come together in that intimacy, because that's the greatest thing going by far, as far as I'm concerned.
That's right. Beautiful said. Beautiful, Joy. Thank you. It was so clear, that outer peace and inner peace are one and the same, right? That the reflection is always around. The reflection of life, reflection of your dark and your light is in every being out there. So if we're really all one, then the self-discovery of peace, right? So they say the kingdom of heaven is within. The thing is, what happens in the separation paradigm of the mind, so this is very important, in our seeking of inner peace, either an outer world, right? That you're going to fix the world, change the world. That's great when it comes forward naturally, but when it comes driven from a fearful place, right? We're still operating from that do, have, be paradigm of separation, of the survival animal. So when we discover peace within ourselves, it's not you trying to find it within. It's really important to hear that. It's not you trying to find it within. The kingdom of heaven is within, inner peace. Yes, and those words are concepts. Resting in your own being, recognizing that you are here already. The simple sense that you are, that you exist. That is peace now. And to live that inner peace, see, is to live inner to outer, reflected upon from outer, where separation ends and the embracing of what is separate, appearing in creation, appearing in life. You free of the neurosis and fearful, lacking mind allows the divine alignment of you not having to seek happiness or seek peace, but you just getting to actually be you. To recognize that this, whether you call it God, spirit, doesn't matter what you call it. Whatever religion you are, or not religion, whatever race, whatever gender, that you can directly begin to explore your own being. And the mind goes, but that's nothing. See, but the mind can't go there. The survival animal has to survive, and it's constantly in fear that it's going to be destroyed. So it's never really at peace. We got to really hear this, right? Right, Joey? It's like the primordial suffering, the angst and pain that all of us experience in different ways, in different experiences, in different circumstances, in different relationships, is at its core the primordial fear of the survival animal thinking it's going to be destroyed.
Yeah. And this is you know, what you said there is reminded me of something funny, because you said the mind will dismiss it, the mind will overlook it, the mind will just say, oh yeah, whatever, that's not going to do anything for me, because the mind is always operating from separation. It's always operating from fear. It's always assuming that there's a problem, and that's fine, because that's its job. Thank God that the mind exists and does its job perfectly. Of course it does, because everything's doing its job perfectly. But the mistake that we make is that we believe the mind's interpretation of experience. And I years ago, and this is the reason I laughed, is because years ago I wrote a book called Peace Feels Like This. I thought it was a brilliant book, by the way. Anybody who's watching this who wants to check it out, go check it out. It's great. And the point really of the book is very simple, which is that fundamentally we don't know. We cannot tell what this experience is. We'll say, if you listen, you'll hear people say, oh, it feels like. Guess what? It doesn't feel like anything. That's the mind telling you what the feeling means. But the feeling itself is not something that the mind can grasp. And so the point of the book was just to point out that this is already peace. And if you're giving your attention to the mind's interpretation, then the mind's going to tell you it's not peace, or it will tell you it is peace, but then it's a transient peace. But there's a deeper possibility of recognizing that this actually is peace. Now, the funny thing, and this is what made me laugh, was that I remember reading a comment about this book years ago that somebody had written in a review on Amazon. And they said, well, I guess it's something like, I guess if you're just looking for the piece of like a blade of grass growing, then that's fine. But like, I'm looking for something else. And it's, you see that the mind will dismiss it. The mind will always say, no, this isn't peace. This isn't good enough. This is not okay. I'll just go searching for something else. And you can play that game for only so long until finally the struggle and the burden of that becomes too much. And that's the real opportunity. And I know anybody who's watching this right now is at this point. And since you're at this point, my invitation to you, which will be extraordinarily powerful for you, is be willing just to not touch the mind for a moment. Be willing just to actually be here as you are, before the next thought, before giving meaning to the next sensation, and to really receive the fullness of your direct experience right now in the most intimate way possible. And notice that that receiving is always happening. You can't even stop the receiving. Try, give it a real solid go. I'm not going to receive. Sorry, you're receiving, because that's your true nature. And that is true peace, because when you realize that there's no possibility of not receiving the totality of all that is always in every moment right now, that's total peace. And that, by the way, is also, and this is important because the idea that most of us have is that peace feels like a really calm feeling. It feels like an undisturbed feeling. It feels like whatever we imagine that is. But when we tell the truth right now, in this moment of direct experience, it feels exactly like this. And this is alive. So there's a movement that happens. It's not, peace is not just what we interpret to mean stillness. It's not just what we interpret to mean calm. It's the inclusivity of all that is happening. And that, by the way, naturally means that you are being moved. You can notice that there's no actual conflict. Only the mind says there's a conflict between peace and activity, right? Or between peace and sensation, between peace and feeling, between peace and thought, between peace and anything else. But in your direct experience, the actual most intimate experience is that peace is the foundation. It is the core of being. It is the spaciousness that allows all. And There's nothing separate from it. So everything that's happening is totally, absolutely, and perfectly allowed. Not only that, see, allowed is like too passive, but it's needed. This is the will of the divine in action, being moved through you, lived and breathed through you. And that is the next step. That's the next level. Instead of just like trying to always manage everything, like, oh, I got to get to peace. I got to get back to that peaceful feeling. I've got to arrange everything so that I can live in peace. The real invitation is like, hey, knock it off. It ain't going to happen. You don't need to do that. This is life happening. Check it out. You know, you think you're going to manage this? I'm going to manage this. Like, I can't stop the wind. I can't stop anything. It's happening, but it's the divine will. Peace expressed. Peace expressed as this. Peace is expressed as you. And when you wake up to that, then you wake up to that creative impulse. You wake up to joy in motion through your soul,
Yes.
through your being.
Yes. So Joey and I have to leave in a few minutes. We both have private sessions. We've actually opened our books up to people, something that's rare for us to do. We've put aside all other things except for the clients that we're meeting with directly now. And we've opened up our books to you, open up a lot of time to meet with people to see if it's right to come closer in mentorship with us and to discover directly what we're pointing to, that you can have a direct experience of awakening to oneness in your life. You can access oneness, right? So to be clear, right? So it's the end of seeking that inner peace, right? The end of battling for outer peace, this transcendence of the lack-minded ego, not getting rid of it, not having to stop your thoughts, but actually a receiving of your own being to aliven, to awaken. And we train you out of your mind so that you will live an awake life. And from there, it's how creation expresses itself through you. So you know what the key is? The one key that leads you through the whole process is all you have to do is show up.
Yeah.
All you have to do is show up. Show up and trust the unfolding of your life beyond you just telling yourself you're doing that good or bad. It's time to shift out of your mind fully and stop living from a survival animal. And that is totally accessible to you. So if you want to check out meeting with Joey and I, you can go to brianmark.com/private, brianmark.com/private. It's in the link below. And you can fill out an assessment there. It's a beginning of a collaborative assessment of self-reflection upon your consciousness journey. Mm-hmm. And then we'll go deeper into that together one-on-one. So we have to say goodbye for now. Just take a look. Where is peace not? And the only thing that says it's not is the mind that says it's only here or there, and that it's based on a sensation or a feeling, and that all comes and goes. So discover what's already here, that you already are. And in that is the fruits of everything. All right. Lots of love, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody.